All right, it's got to be done. The Abdul Carter video, doing our 2025 NFL Draft Prospect Profiles today. My number one and many people's number one overall on their big board prospect for this draft, Abdul Carter. True blue chip talent, if you ever think about it. Many comparisons to Von Miller when he was more of the linebacker variety. And now Kayvon Thibodeau, and of course the obvious Chop Robinson as well. There's many comparisons to that, but the obvious one is Micah Parsons. Both coming from the same school, obviously from Penn State, and he is going to be a day one impact player in the NFL. 6'3", 260 pounds, and he screams everything you want from your knuckles in the dirt edge defender. That's what he's going to be. You see here, I'm going to point through here real quick. 2022, 2023, 2024, you look at this big year here. This is his first year as really a designated defensive end down on the line. He spent probably, I don't have it exactly in front of me, but roughly 80 to 90% down, knuckles in the dirt this last year. Before that, he was more in the box, more of your outside linebacker, more of a 3-4 style standing up, more of a linebacker style, and he is converted to defensive end, and the results were abso-freaking-lutely phenomenal. Among the very best in all of college football for the level of competition, he played hands down the very best, flashing complete excellence on every variety of it. His get-off from the snap is among the very best. He's very quick, agile, tough, length. He's got length. He's athletic like crazy. I think he was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list for their athletic freaks. I think he was somewhere, in the 40s or 50s on that from what I remember seeing. I'll show just a little bit of highlights here in a second. If you haven't seen highlights of Abdul Carter, you need to look at more of them, but I'll show a couple here. His first step explosion is very unique. You guys know I love guys like that. I showed Walter Nolan. That's the big thing with Walter Nolan, too, in the defensive line on the interior, is that first step explosion, when they can green light, when they can get after it, and then when they can make them miss. I mean, he's got a variety of moves. He wins the hand battles. He's got a great cross chop. He's got a great ghost move. He's got a great spin move. He's got great variety to be able to stop and plant and move directions and juke out the offensive tackles. He's got extreme bend and flex. Everything, literally, if you're to design a perfect defensive end that you want, that's him. And then he's freakishly quick, too. He can come from behind and catch up to guys like crazy. Like, he's just freaking fast. Carter, naturally violent as a tackler. He's still learning in that regard. That's the high upside thing about Abdul Carter, is he's still raw, too. I mean, he's experienced. He's got 3 years starting at Penn State, but he's still such a raw product that he can get after it, and he's got a freakish motor. Serious competitiveness, and I mean, I believe he was injured during the college national playoffs, and you didn't see a dip in his production at all. And this is some of the training from his tape. I'm forgetting the guy's name right now, and I feel bad because I should have that off the top of my tongue. But the athletic trainer that he works with in the offseason to be able to develop his edge rushing skills is the same one that works with Micah Parsons too. And so he's being trained by the best. He's got a connection with Micah Parsons, and he plays just freaky athletics. So I can't think of anything negative about Abdul Carter's game at all. Not one thing in his game worries me. He's got length, athleticism, first step get off, all the competitiveness you need, closing burst, the ability to track, the ability to get after someone. He's just everything about him. He's going to be a day one impact guy. So I would be very elated. What's the probability of him coming to the Bears? Nil. It's not going to happen. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes number 1 overall to Tennessee. As everyone knows, Will Levis is on the 3rd year of his rookie contract. Now, he's expendable because he was a second-round pick. If they really fall in love with Cam Ward or another quarterback, Shadur Sanders, someone at the top of the draft, the Titans can go that direction, but if they really just want Abdul Carter, this is a funny play. The defender, I got to go back and show that one. The offensive tackle, he got by him right here, and watch the offensive tackle. He's like, just dirt it. Just dirt the ball. Abdul Carter's coming after you. Just dirt it. And then here, the last highlights here I'm going to show are these are him against Ariante Ursary, and it's not positive or negative. It's just all 22 film. And Ariante Ursary is one of my favorite tackles from this draft, and this is Abdul Carter against him. And I feel like it was a really fair matchup. So if the Titans want to go with a true impact player who's going to change their if you're going to be able to draft Micah Parsons, I go ahead and do it. I mean, you can sign a free agent quarterback if they need to. Aaron Rodgers is on the market. In fact, that's a place I tabbed would be a good spot for him so that they could take advantage of this defensive class, take advantage of Abdul Carter. And if I were the Titans, that's what I would do. I would get Abdul Carter. He's my number one on my board. I think it'd be stupid not to take him. Maybe they'll trade down and take quarterback second if the Browns want to get Abdul Carter. I don't know. But here's where I have him. I do my big board this year, and I've released, if you're on Twitter, you saw I actually released my top 10 without meaning to in a debate. I said, well, these are the top 10. These are the top 10 talents. None of them were quarterbacks, by the way. You guys will see that soon. I'm going to get that together. But he's going to go between 1 and 2 here. Most people have him as the number 1 on the big boards. It's whether or not they really are placing who will be drafted first or who's the best talent. I think most of them are going off who's the best talent. But you can argue quarterback will go first off the board because that's the biggest need for teams. But this year's edge class is freaking elite. This year's running back class, this year's defensive line class, tight ends. I mean, there's some really good aspects. And Abdul Carter is the leading candidate for all of those things. By far the best, I shouldn't say by far, but the best athlete, the best prospect at his position. Abdul Carter's a no-brainer for any team that needs to draft an impact player that will change their franchise. So Abdul Carter's my number 1. Down here you can see overall defensive grade, second as the best defensive grade for a defensive end or lineman. Pass rush grade, second best. Overall pressure, second best. I think his tackles were top 5 as well. So everything about him is he's just top notch. Motor, hustle, everything about him. So we won't drag this one on any longer because the odds of the Bears getting him are not good. Could the Bears trade up? Probably, but you'd have to give up a crazy freaking haul. Anybody can trade up with anybody, but nobody's going to trade down out of range to get Abdul Carter. So this one's not going to happen for the Bears. You can see some places where he drops on their mock simulators. That's why you don't listen to mock simulators. They're huffy fluffy. So Abdul Carter's my number 1 on my board. He's probably number 1 on all your guys' boards too. But it would be awesome if the Bears got him. It's not going to happen. So with that, the Bears, bear down.